More now on Israel's plan for a major expansion of its military campaign in Gaza. The plan won't come into force immediately, with US President Donald Trump due to visit next week. Moshe Lavi is the brother-in-law of Omri Miran, who was taken hostage by Hamas on October the 7th, 2023, and he joins us now. Moshe, welcome. So what's your reaction to Israel's plans for a major expansion into Gaza?
Thank you, Ross. It was difficult for many families of hostages to follow the news cycle in Israel over the past few days, to follow the statements of some of our elected officials who clearly prioritize other objectives over the objective of redeeming the captives, returning home all the hostages. And what the government has signaled us in the past day is that they are committed to eradicating Hamas, but not committed to bring on the hostages as the primary objective. For us, it's devastating because it doesn't align with promises given to us in the past, and it doesn't align with the will of the public, a public that yearns to see all the hostages home, according to every major poll conducted since May 24.
Given what you've just said, though, do you believe that the Israeli government will make efforts to determine the locations of the remaining hostages before they make any military move?
I'm convinced and certain that the necessary steps are being carried in order to ensure the safety and safeguards of the hostages, irrespective of the military operation. But everyone knows that war is the kingdom of uncertainty, and mistakes can be made, and hostages might risk their lives, pay with their lives as a result. We, as families of hostages, do not want to sign more death certificates. 41 hostages were already murdered in captivity by Hamas and their accomplices. We don't want to see many of them more leading to the same fate. And it was clear from statements made by the chief of the general staff of the IDF, by other senior members of the IDF, that expanding the military operation is going to risk the lives of the hostages. And I implore, and I continue imploring my government to do all it needs to ensure first that all the hostages are out of harm's way, are released, before they are thinking of obtaining other objectives in this war against Hamas.
Have you been in direct contact with the Israeli government over this, Moshe?
I personally wasn't. I think in the past few weeks, the government has not been in contact with many families. I've been focusing my advocacy in the US, where I'm based. And my understanding is that the US administration, led by President Trump, who has taken the cause of the hostages to his heart and has championed it, are not aligned completely with the plans of the Israeli government. We received, as families of hostages, mixed signals from the administration, from the special envoy Witkoff and other members of the administration, about how they can push the different stakeholders to accept the deal that is on the table, the bridging deal that Witkoff came up with, in order to begin then the process of signing a long-term ceasefire, long-term deal to release all the hostages. I really hope that what the Israeli government decided today is merely a deterrence against Hamas and their accomplices to give up of their hopes to retain control in Gaza. But we all know escalations could lead to a full operation, and then we might return to the beginning point where our loved ones are stuck in Gaza, are under threat of death, imminent death, and we are still needing to advocate for their lives.
As you say, Moshe, you've been a vocal advocate in the US for the release of hostages. Do you hope that the visit of Donald Trump to the region next week might be an opportunity for a ceasefire and a hostage deal to be resurrected?
I have no doubt that it's going to be part of the discussions that the president is going to carry with the US partners in the Gulf region, with the Saudis, the Emiratis, and the Qataris. And the solution to our crisis in Gaza and in Israel, the hostage crisis, is really intertwined with solutions to the larger questions in the Middle East, including normalization with Saudi Arabia, And I hope the president will continue to push for his vision, the vision he laid out before his election, the vision he's been promoting ever since he was inaugurated. A deal that will bring on all the hostages, a deal that will ensure Hamas cannot repeat October the 7th, that will safeguard the security of Israel, the state of Israel and its partners in the region, and a deal that will allow a better path for everyone in the region, Israelis, Palestinians in Gaza, and of course, other members of the region, other countries.
And your brother-in-law, Omri Miran, was in a hostage video release just a couple of weeks ago. Moshe, was that a relief, a shock to see him? How did you and your family feel?
It was difficult. The past few weeks were difficult because we marked Omri's birthday on April 11th. The day after, we sat to the Passover Seder table without him for the second year in a row, supposedly celebrating the liberty and freedom of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt when we still have hostages in the Gaza Strip today. And then the video came out. We try to focus on what matters. What matters is that Omri's alive, no matter how he looks. He looks terrible in the video, no matter what he said. He was forced to say it. It's a psychological warfare video. But we focus on the fact he's alive, that there are 23 other hostages alongside Omri, so 24 in total are alive, and that there are in total 59 hostages who can be returned home, those who are alive for reunification with their families, and those who were murdered in captivity for proper burial, because it's part of our ethos in Israel. It's part of our social contract in Israel. And many families of hostages are not really sensing and feeling that the current government is doing all it can to preserve that ethos and social contract. We can bring Omri home, and we want to bring him home to my nieces, to my sister, so that the next birthday will mark will be with them in freedom and not in captivity.
How are your nieces doing?
It's difficult. They're growing up. Omri missed so much of their development. And you know, when you're so young, every month matters. You know, the first steps, the first words. Ronnie, who is 3 years old now, 3.5 years old, is remembering almost everything. She's drawing it. She's drawing. A few months ago, she drew the path to light to Omri, lighting a path for his freedom. And she speaks about him all the time. And Alma, who recently celebrated her second birthday, never celebrated a birthday with her father Omri, asking for him, asking to see him, asking to know whether her father is not merely a poster. So it's difficult. And yesterday we also buried Omri's dog, Mojo. He survived October 7th himself. He was badly injured. Luckily survived, but he's been waiting for Omri himself for so long, and his heart couldn't take it anymore, and we sadly had to bury him earlier yesterday.
We'll leave it there. Moshe Lavi, we appreciate you talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you.